What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I want to walk through dead letter exchanges, but instead of going to a dead letter queue, I'm going to route it to a dead letter stream. And basically, I want to talk about potential benefits you can get by using a stream over a queue for your dead letters or your messages that fail to acknowledge. And I do have my cluster set up locally, so I have three running nodes. So on ports 5672, 73, and 74. So I have those running. So that's the context of the environment that we're going to be working in. And you can see that if I go to my overview, you'll be able to see the three nodes. So this operates, on majority quorum. So 2 out of 3 of the nodes have to be up in order for me to be able to publish to RabbitMQ. So I want to walk through. Well, first, actually, I'm going to start this API here, and this is just the same car data API that we have been working with on the channel. So let's go ahead and bounce over to my Swagger docs. And I want to modify the endpoint, get car messages here. So if we jump over to the code, get car messages is essentially going to just attempt to retrieve the messages from, which queue is it trying to get it from? Queue name, engine data. So I don't think I have anything in that queue, so let's go and execute that. And it's going to, consumer is now listening for messages. I do just have a read line at the bottom, so it'll continue. So let's go and continue that, and let's see, make sure that it stood up my queue. So if you take a look at this queue, it's actually, it's actually not set up currently for dead lettering, so that'll be the first thing we have to set up, actually. And I don't even have my dead letter exchange set up either. So we got to do a little bit of code to wire that up. And we looked at this in the last video, but I'm just going to do this real quick. So in wherever you're essentially building your connections and declaring your queue, what you're going to want to do is on the queue itself, before you declare it, we're going to actually define some arguments. So if you go over to the arguments, currently it's null. Arguments is a dictionary of string and nullable object. So we're just going to make that like that. Oops. And we'll call it args. New dictionary. Okay. So now, you can add things like that. We're not going to do message time to live. What we are going to do is, I forget what it's called, actually. A handy way to see what the arguments are available to you is just go into here and then add them, and it'll tell you what the header is, or the argument. So that's the one we're going to want to add is X dead letter exchange. Now you can name this whatever you want. We'll name the dead letter exchange. What is this? This is car engine data. So we'll just call it dead letter dot engine. Okay, and so we have dead letter dot engine, and that should be the only thing that we need. So I'm actually going to go and have to delete this queue so that way it creates it again. Deleted that queue. So we declared the arguments, and now we're going to populate those. And do we want any other arguments on here? I don't think so. Auto expire, dead letter, routing key. Okay. All right. So now, whoops. Got that. We can put the arguments there. All right, so now we're going to want to, for the sake of just this construction, I guess we'll just go ahead and declare our bindings and everything here, and declare the dead letter exchange in queue. We may as well. So let's just go ahead and do that up here. So we'll just take advantage of the channel while it's open, and we'll just go ahead and do that. So we'll do await channel. Whoa. Go back. Man, autocomplete is very aggressive in Writer. That is one thing that can get a little annoying. Okay, queue declare. We need it to be, what do we want to call this? Engine, well, what's the queue name? Engine data, I think. Queue name, engine data. And I'll do dot dead letter. Okay. What's the second argument? Okay, we'll just autocomplete that. True, false, false. Okay, perfect. That should be enough for just an example. We do have cancellation token. So let me just pass my cancellation token in there. CTS.token. Oh, what do we do? I think it was in the wrong spot. Hold on. All right, whatever. I'm not gonna pass. No. There we go. Autocomplete got it for me. All right. I do want to declare my exchange as well. So exchange declare async, and this is where we need to define the exchange, which we called it deadletter.engine. And let's see if autocomplete helps me out for the rest. We'll do the type as direct, and durable. We do want durable. We want some other things as well. We don't want auto delete. It's false. And arguments null. Cancellation token. Okay. Now we need to bind the queue to the exchange. So we can just do this and queue bind async. And I believe, okay, it takes the queue first. So dead letter. We want this queue here. Engine data.dead letter bound to that exchange with I want my routing key to be engine data. Okay. Should be enough for now. I don't know if we have, do we have cancellation support? Let's see if I can autocomplete that. Okay, perfect. So we declared my dead letter. I'll just put a comment here. Dead letter construction. So we're building we declared the exchange, declared the queue, bound the queue to the exchange, provided a routing key, made it direct. Okay. The next thing we'll need to do is go ahead and copy that. Am I getting an error? Oh, yeah, where is that? Oh, it's the same. Okay. All right, let's run that, and hopefully we got everything. Let's go ahead and call that endpoint again. Internal, okay. No exchange, dead letter. Oh, did we not exchange? Declare dead letter.engine type, engine data.dead letter, queue bind. Oh, whoops. I copied the wrong, I copied the name of the queue for the, let's do that again. All right. I copied the name of the queue for as the exchange. Okay. There we go. And let's continue that. All right, let's check out my, so now we have the dead letter Q, and we have engine data, arguments going to dead letter dot, we have the dead letter dot engine. Okay, with that as the routing key. All right, cool. So we got our construction now. The one thing I do need to do now is throw somewhere. So, all right, so we have we'll just need to publish some message here. And what I'm going to do actually, because I don't think this is running still. No, I'll just have to recall that again. But I'm going to actually, instead of returning that task and acknowledging it, I have to put AutoAct set to false. Uncomment that, and I'm going to take this task out, and I'm actually just going to throw. We'll just throw a new exception and say fail to act. All right, so that will essentially kick the message over to the dead letter Q. We will have to provide, I believe, the routing key to be used for the dead letter Q. So let's just make sure that we constructed that correctly. Okay, so this is just going to simulate, an exception is thrown, we're going to fail, and we're not going to get there. So let me go there, and we will have to publish a message to there. So I'm just going to construct a payload, and we'll just do our classic test, and we'll go ahead and publish that. We hit our breakpoint. You can see that the body of our message, we get that is, let's go to our console test, perfect. All right, so we're going to, if we look at RabbitMQ, you can see that we have one unact message, and if we step over the throw, we should get out of that now. And you can see if we refresh here, you can see that we still have one unact message. So what we're actually going to have to do is we will have to handle the exception. So actually what we'll do is to simulate this, if for example we had, oops. Let's not do a throw because I forgot that's not gonna, we have to actually reject it. So we'll go ahead and just do channel dot basic reject async. Okay. The delivery tag is on the event and requeue is going to be false. Okay. All right. So we're just going to reject it. And basically, obviously, like, you're not going to reject it if you're just processing manually, but you can imagine this inside of a try catch or, any kind of logic you have. You can handle whatever exception or anything that happens. Okay. So let us do this again. And let's go back here. Let's run that. So, okay, it picked up the same message. And we're going to reject it. And we're going to continue off that. I believe we should still be running in the console. Yep. Okay, so let me just make sure that my my thing is still running because I don't want to have to redo this. Okay, cool. So it's going to reject that one again. 1, 2. Okay. So this is getting a count. All right. So if we go over to my the dead letter queue, you can see that now. Okay. So the routing key. Interesting. Routing key is engine data. So now we have 2 messages. Let's go ahead and get one of those messages now. Okay, so there is my Interesting. So the routing key, if you look at the properties, you can see that the queue that sent it, the death queue, is the engine data queue. Reason is rejected. The routing key gets set for engine data, but I wonder what happens. And this is going to get into what we're doing here, but I'm going to make a new stream, and I'm going to call it engine data dot dead letter, but then dot stream. Okay, and I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and add that key, that stream. I'm going to go ahead and copy the name of that, head over to my dead letter exchange here, which is the deadletter.engine. I'm actually going to increase the size of this here. Okay. And we're going to bind that here, and I want to give it a routing key. So engine data, we'll just say engine data stream. And let's go ahead and bind that. And now now we have two things bound. So I want to now go back to the same queue, which is the engine data queue. Okay, and I want to publish a message here. And I want to see if it gets there, because I want to see if I have to set another header for that to get there. So, okay, so it failed there. Now, let's go back to my queue, dead letter. Okay, interesting. So, very interesting. So now we have 3 messages. And let's go ahead and get all 3 of them. Engine data, engine data. Routing key. Routing keys, engine data. Engine. What I'm missing here is, and what's interesting, how does it know to use that routing key if I didn't specify it on the source queue? Because it appears that when I need to add is this here, X dead letter routing key. You can see that actually auto-completed for me. And I need the routing key to be engine data. But how did it know? Oh, wow, that's interesting. So I'm kind of looking up on the side here. It says, if the argument is not specified, so our dead letter routing key argument right here, RabbitMQ will use the original routing key of the dead lettered message. So does it default to the first, like, does it just default to the original binding routing key? That's interesting. I don't know, but let me change the routing key to be the engine data stream key, because I want it to go to the stream now. Okay, so we may have to redeclare the queue. Yeah, let me go back to that queue, engine data. Yep, I'm gonna delete this queue. I wish you could just like update it, you know, like add to the queue. I understand why you can't, but it would just be nice to be able to do that. So I'm gonna restart this. Now we have the additional X dead letter routing key specified there. And then let's go back to my endpoint and start that. Now let's go back to the queue and let's take a look at that argument now. So the argument is engine data stream, which should route the dead letter message to that dead letter stream now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again publish a message here, and same thing, we're going to reject it. And let me go back to now let me go back to my stream. So now I have one message. Cool. Okay, so that worked. And now, okay, good. I don't have, I was going to be really confused if I saw 4 on the dead letter queue. Then that would have like, wait a second, I thought this was a direct exchange. Okay, cool. So now, okay, very cool. So now we have a stream set up. I'm not going to worry about changing the or using the streams protocol. I'm just going to use the RabbitMQ client for the sake of the video, just because I'm just going to add a simple endpoint. I just don't want to use the streams protocol right now, just because I'm already in the client code. So now we have, let me actually send a couple messages to here. Oh, whoops. I think I published blank messages. I didn't mean to publish it there. Whoops. I meant to, okay, well, we have 6 messages. It doesn't, some are blank. That's fine. Let me go back to my engine data queue. I meant to publish them here. And we'll just give it some other data. So, just do my name. And I'm just going to remove my breakpoint so I can just, just send a bunch of messages to the stream and have them all be rejected. So now my stream has some bad data in it, or bad messages that were rejected. So it's 24. And I'm going to go and actually essentially get kind of commandeer one of my existing endpoints here for being able to pass in days into getting stream messages. And I'm just going to swap the name of the stream. And I probably exchange declare. Okay, that's fine. Q declare. Oh, I did declare it with. I may have to delete this for now, the max age, which is fine because I forgot to define that when I built it in RabbitMQ, the UI. Okay, I got the prefetch set, and I'm going to have to mess with this stuff because I changed. That's fine. So Q declare is now going to be this here. Let's go back to my code. So I'm just going to swap that for what I have in there. Q declare, Q bind. Okay, that's good. Now the exchange is the deadletter.engine exchange. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give that the name there. So declared it, bound it. I do need to pass in that routing key, I guess, to here so I can match my configuration. Okay, arguments, I don't believe has it any declare. I didn't specify any additional things. Okay. All right. So consumer. Okay. Oh, this is all my old stuff. Oh, wait, I think this is basic consume. I'm going to set my breakpoint right there. Okay. I'm going to restart this. Now it should connect to my dead letter stream. Again, I'm just kind of using my existing code that I've reviewed on the channel before. But let's go back to, I believe what is it, get stream messages? Yes. So if we go here, get stream messages, and I'm just going to pass in 1 day, and let's see if it, okay, so not found, no queue. Okay, well, we kind of solved our own problem that we created. All right, so let me continue that. Remove my breakpoints because we know it works fine now. So back to my original thing, and this, again, this just shows how much of software engineering is just trial and error. But we have this mapped as a dead letter stream is what it is, right? It's routed, it's bound to our dead letter exchange, and this is our dead letter stream. An interesting use case for this, because a stream is, a stream message, right? The messages are persistent by nature. A queue fixes part of the problem, right? If we have the dead letter queue, but once you read that message, it's a destructive action. If you needed some more, let's say, robust handling of these errors, or you want to perhaps manipulate the payload of your errored messages while still retaining the record, you can essentially, let's get back to my original point here. So if I were to go, let's say, to my controller, and I'm just gonna mess with this here. So instead of let's say you have your from list here of int days, I'm gonna take that out, and I'm just gonna manually pass in -10 as the int, and then okay. What we can do is, let's go ahead and just above here, just again to make it easy, we're just going to define an enum, and we're going to say error, we'll just call it error handling, I guess. Error handling. And we'll say get last 10 days errors. Get last 5 days errors, and then get get last 30 days. We're going to then pass that in here to error, and now we're going to say we're just going to make a case on, oops, not a case, a switch. Let's see if autocomplete gets it for me. Nope. Switch case. Get last 10 days. We're going to do that. And now we need our case of get last 5 days. We're going to do that. And we're going to now await, break. And in the case of last 30 days, we're now going to specify that, and we got to do break, and default, we're just going to say break. Okay. And then we're going to return, okay, I guess. Sure. All right, let's run this again, and let's pull up Swagger UI here. Let's go back to Swagger UI. Let's refresh. So now we can get our stream messages. Let's try it out. So doesn't look very nice. Let me. You can imagine if this was plain text, right? We could select, hey, get me the last 10 days errors, 5 days, 30 days, whatever. We select one, execute it. It's gonna go inside that switch. It's gonna say get last 10 days errors, and we can look at my console and we can select it, and we can see, okay, here are the list of all my errors that I've encountered. And if we built like some, UI around this to actually return these values, we could potentially manipulate the payload and then reprocess it. And we can do this with functionality from our stream. And this offers us a lot of flexibility because, again, we're not saying we're using a stream for processing, but we're using it for dead lettering. And it's nice that we can just take advantage of our existing dead letter exchange, but route instead to a stream versus a queue. So I don't know. It's an interesting use case for sure. You kind of have to build some code around it, I feel like, to make it worthwhile. But just giving like some more like plain text approach for I guess it has a description there. But giving more like a plain text approach for like how you approach error processing and error handling, I think, is a really unique and underappreciated concept, especially in .NET. And again, dead lettering is really just configuration and routing and making sure that you handle your exceptions appropriately. And if you set that all up correctly, you can make a really neat and I think interesting system that you can build. Let's say you build something to produce a table of all these error records, and you just give the ability to just edit, in line the values, and then submit back to reprocess. That's an interesting, use case, because then you have a record of, hey, here are the error messages that I had, that attempted to go through the system, and let's just, manipulate them on the fly and send them back. So I don't know. There's interesting stuff to be had, especially with dead lettering, with streams. So again, I just want to show that a lot of it was just like working through some nuances, and especially that timestamp offset. But I had it for days. I mean, you could do it in seconds if you wanted, and so you could get, hey, give me the last errors for the last 10 seconds. And you could do that. Again, it's really, I think, about making your logs readable and making it easy to see, hey, what errors did we have and how do we see the payloads of that. So anyway, that's all I got for today. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.